Welcome all of you. Welcome to another video of Maths Made Easy. The name of the channel has been changed from Animaths to Maths Made Easy, just in case you are finding it confusing. Here in today's video, I am not going to take up any topic. I thought I'll just talk to you regarding your science marks. Now, there are times when you face a lot of frustration. Your science marks do not improve, but you are with your textbooks, you are with your books all the time. Okay, but still your science marks do not improve. So, what is going wrong? So, am going to talk about few things. Probably, if you work on these points, probably these were the things that were going wrong with you, and probably you can improve your science marks. So, firstly, when it comes to science, many of you tend to remember only the only thing that comes to your mind when we talk about science chapters, physics, chemistry or bio. The only thing that comes to your mind is notes. Okay, so you are only bothered about your school notes, or you are bothered about your notes that are given by your tuition teacher. Okay, had you made your own notes, it would have been a different story. But you are not making your own notes, you are copying notes. You are very sincere in copying notes. You don't miss one word of the teacher's notes. Okay, and then your learning science means learning up those notes from the notebook. Now that is, gone are the days when notes learning could have helped you. Okay, so notes learning did not help us even at our times. So now notes learning is an obsolete concept. Now textbooks have become very important. Okay, so you have to read your textbook thoroughly. You have to read your textbook thoroughly, and you have to, as you read in science, as you read, you have to keep on marking the points that you find is important, those points which you feel that can be converted to a question. What is most important is when children tend to not get marks in science, or I would say even in maths, in any subject, rather this is for any subject, they sometimes don't even have an idea of where is what in the chapter, which chapter is that thing from. Okay, even that is not clear. So all that is clarified when you are reading from your textbook, when you are learning from your textbook. So textbook learning is important, as you have already understood by now. Now what is the second thing? There are some questions given. You can be in the CBSE board or you can be in ICSE, it does not matter. There can be, or you can be in any state board. There are questions given behind every chapter in your textbook. In CBSE, you'll find some questions which are given inside the chapter. That is, after every portion of the chapter is over, 2 or 3 questions are given in blue boxes. Okay, you are supposed to work out all those questions. Okay, so here no shortcuts can be involved. Every question behind the chapter has to be worked out. Okay, and when you work out the chapters, I don't know how far you all find my words important, but then when you are working out the chapters, please copy the questions right above the answer. Why? Now, why am I making you work so hard? Just like that. When you sit down to revise this, these answers before the exams, will you have the patience to go back to the questions every time? From your textbook, open your textbook, go back to the question, because which answer is answer 3, you don't know the question, then your learning is going waste if you don't know the question and you are only reading the answer. Okay, so please make the effort of writing the questions to right above the question. Then The next one, why we don't score. Another reason, take care of your diagrams. Okay, science involves a lot of diagrams. That is, we have so many diagrams in bio. We have lots of light diagrams, and we have diagrams in chemistry also. Okay, lab methods and all that. So if you think that diagram can come, I'm not talking about the very difficult diagrams, because there are some diagrams in biology or in even physics or chemistry which are not, with which they don't ask you to draw. They will only ask you to label. They'll give it in the question paper, they'll ask for the labeling. So those are different, you don't have to waste time on those. But then there are the rest of the diagrams which they can, like ray diagrams in physics and all. You will have to draw every diagram a minimum of 3 times before your exam to get it correct. Okay, I said a minimum of 3 times. Okay, so another thing, sometimes we don't give enough importance to the neatness of the diagrams. Diagrams have to be drawn in pen pencil to make them very neat, so that you can create a very good impression, and you also help the teacher hold on to her patience. Okay, another thing is, remember, when the teacher is correcting, she is correcting 500 papers in a day probably for board exams. Otherwise also she is correcting quite a good number of papers every day. So you should help her to do that. Now if you are not writing neatly, she can lose her patience easily, even if your diagrams are correct. Okay, labeling also to be done very, very neatly. Now diagrams are to be drawn in pencil, of course. I have seen children drawing rough sketches with pens. Absolutely no. Now some children will tell me, I have done all of these, I have done my diagrams and I have done my textbook reading and everything. In spite of that, I don't score. Now one big reason for students in middle and high school for not scoring in science is they understand the topic very well and they go to the exam with that knowledge. Knowing the topic is one thing, putting it down in paper is a very different thing. When you put it down in paper, especially questions like give reasons, okay, I think you have it to some extent in your other subjects also, but then it matters the most in physics and chemistry. Whenever there is a give reason question, your answers, I hope they are not missing their keywords. There is something called the keywords. So even if you are writing a very big answer, okay, you've written a half page of give reason for a 2 marks question, but your answer is lacking all the keywords. Now what are keywords? You might be wondering, what are keywords? Now keywords are, supposing you are writing an answer in the chapter heat, then the words like conduction, convection, radiation, or specific heat capacity, or words like Newton's first law, second law, third law, law of inertia, okay, so momentum. So these are the main keywords which are necessary for the answer for you to get marks. If your teacher cannot see these scientific keywords in your answers, she will not be able to give you marks. Okay, so you can just be writing and explaining over there, but then without key marks you still don't score. Okay, now another thing, sometimes we feel that we did it all, but then still we are not scoring. Another big reason is you are not learning your definitions or your principles. There are many principles, principle of law of conservation of energy, or definitions. There's a whole lot of definitions in science. Now if definitions or principles are asked, you should be writing that in exact book words. Okay, give reasons can be written in your own words. That is not, you don't need book words for that. But then for definitions and laws, it has to be the exact keywords. You cannot change it as per your understanding. Okay, sometimes we write as we understand. Okay, you cannot write it like that. So the exact words are required. Another thing is, when you are writing the keywords in the exams, as I said, the teacher is correcting so many papers. So you should also underline the keywords. Okay, don't forget to underline the keywords to help the teacher out with her correction. She shouldn't miss your keywords. Okay, so that is another thing that we have to remember. So in a nutshell, how to score in science is, firstly, a little bit of pen work is necessary. Okay, please don't hold your textbook or your notebook in front of you and keep on reading it, many a times, reading it for hours, and then still when it comes to the exam, remember, if you're doing that, just holding your notebook in front of your eyes and not writing anything, not penning down any answers, not drawing diagrams as practice, what happens is when you go to the exam, it all vanishes. I'm sure you are agreeing with me. Okay, so now you forget the keywords, you forget the diagrams. Where is what you forget? You even forget the formula, you forget everything. Okay, so it is important for you to do some pen work in science. Okay, so try to attempt, next time you write your science exams, try to do your learning following these few tips. I'm sure to some extent your marks is going to definitely go up. Okay, all this is definitely beyond understanding. Once you have understood the concept, these are the things that are to be followed. I am not saying that without understanding, without proper explanation, you go for these methods and it's going to help you. Okay, so that's it for today. If you have liked my video, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. There are more videos about tips as to how to do well in maths and science. You can go to the description and check for those links. Okay then, bye all of you.